What's going on, everybody? Predator666 UFC here, bringing you episode number 3 for the this week's in Legends Racing League. I'm here with Gordon Fan. Gordon Fan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right.
So, I wanna just get this out of the way. This past week I've been extremely busy. Uh, Friday we had the race. Saturday I was out of town. Sunday I was out of town. Um, Monday we had the race. Tuesday I was editing all day. Wednesday I was editing all day. And then finally today we get this video in. Sorry for the late video, but in my opinion, actually it's not really opinion, it's a fact. I've posted 2 videos, about to be 3 videos in a 48 hour span, and I'm pretty tired, but I signed up for this. So, but there has been a lot of stuff that has gone on this past weekend in our league. From people getting penalized, from people quitting, from uh, people getting warts in their eye. It's been very, very crazy. And speaking of which, as you can see, there's only 2 of us. Normally there's 3, but we'll get into that. But Gordon Fan, you don't race in the Xfinity series as much, so I'm going to be talking as much about the Xfinity series. But nothing really happened in the Xfinity series. Nothing really excitement. Nothing really wow. This happened. There was a few things. We're gonna start out with before the race even started. I woke up with a wart in my eye. It's called a sty, for the people that are scientific and know what a sty is. But for people that are dumb like me, it's a wart in your eye. I have one inside the bottom of my eyelid, my right eye, and I woke up and it was swelled up, and it hurt really bad. So I was treating it as much as I can because I knew it was going to affect me in the race, because you need your eyes to race. So, long story short, we get into the practice. I went practice. I blew everybody out of the water. I got like a 27.84, and then second place was, I think, .45 or .35 away from me. And then we get into qualifying. I set 27.84 again, blew everybody out of the water. We get in the race. We went caution free until maybe lap, I don't know, maybe lap 100 or something like that. Where our mics lagged out, we had to go and make a new lobby. Um, so that happened, and then we get into the next one, and I completely dominate that. I led 85% of the race. Irish quits the race and the series. Says that it's too easy for him, that he went from 7th to 2nd place in like a 15 lap span. So he quits the race and quits the series. And then we go on, and Don lags out. Dason lags out. So that leaves Brandon, Maverick, Gemini, and myself. And I blew everybody out of the water. And we just kept having caution after caution after caution because we only have 1 car cautions. And long story short, I win the race. Um, Gordon Fan, I'm going to bring you into this. Even though you weren't there, after what I've said, what do you think of the Xfinity race?
Crazy, I would definitely say. And it was insane enough that you won a race with one good eye. That's pretty much what I had to say about that. It was felt like an exciting race. You winning with only one eye, and all of that other dramatic stuff happening in the race. It was felt like it was a pretty good one from what I heard.
It was one of the best races we actually had in a not really a long time, but one of the best races we had this season. With as amount, or, I think Michigan was our best one, but New Hampshire was a really good one, especially for a short track. But yeah, speaking of the wart, I like I said, I woke up. You're supposed to put as much hot stuff on your eye. Um, so at the time, I was putting like hot wash rags. I even put the heat pad on it, trying to get as much heat as I can to stop the irritation, basically. And I did it before the race, and then the competition caution. I did it, and then after the race, I was just I was tired, I was frustrated, and I don't know why I was frustrated, to be honest, but my eye was killing me. I just wanted to go to bed. But moving on, again, drama happens before the race. In the Cup Series. Well, this is the first time I've actually witnessed, and something happened in this league way before the race even starts. We do qualifying, and just drama and some bullshit happens. Um, Before the race started, myself went and practiced to get a feel for the track. Get myself ready because I wanted to get the sweep. You know, I wanted to get the sweep. Long story short, um, and I run a 27.77. Wasn't the fastest I ran in the Xfinity series. Even though I said it on Twitter, I said I ran faster than Friday. I actually went back and I proved myself wrong. Um, but I was really close. I ran a 27.71 in the Xfinity. That was my fastest. But moving on, I went on Twitter, and Gemini, who takes it to Twitter, says, no, let me actually pull it up. I'm sorry. I'm not prepared for this. Uh,
Looks like somebody's not professional today.
no, like I said, I've been very, very, very tired and very busy, for the past few days. Okay, here we go. Ran a 27.77 faster than I was in Xfinity. Let the bitching and moaning begin. Now, a couple moments later, Gemini says if Predator doesn't win, uh, he will bitch and moan like always. He will complain and all that. So I said if Gemini gets bumped by Maverick, he will be the baby he is, and then Dason will try to figure out why his car is shit. And then, uh, the whole team of GDF Racing, which is Gemini, Dason, and Frank, completely bash me. Maverick doesn't have a Twitter, and nor does he or will ever get a Twitter. Don has a Twitter, but he never uses it. And Irish has a Twitter, but he didn't see this shit. Um, I I can't remember exactly what GDF Racing it said, but I'm not gonna pull it up because I have to come back to my Twitter. But basically, what happened was they were saying that you know our team is really good, but we talk too much shit, and we you know for some reason I'm jealous, and Dason said that for some reason I'm jealous. I to this day I still don't know why I'm jealous or how I'm jealous, whatever. So I said Gemini and GDF Racing. I tagged them. I was like, you can fix a bad car to make it better, but you can't fix a bad driver. And they got we got a heated argument. Uh, we move on. We get into qualifying. Wild Thing wins the pole. Now he beats my Xfinity time, my fastest time in the race, and fastest time in qualifying, and fastest time in practice. Um, which it's a shocker. Gordon Field, what do you think? Like, for default, you can't mess with anything but assists, and you go out and you run a 27. I think it was a 27.54 or 27.60 or something like that, and beat guys who are on Friday racing with setups to have a fast car?
Well, apparently the track suits his driving style. I mean, of course, everybody has sets different times on the default setup, and that all depends on how they drive. And apparently, since Wild Thing set that really fast time, he obviously probably ran with a little bit of a lower brake bias and probably a little erratic way of entering and exiting the corners, and a little bit of assist from the outside wall to gain that extra advantage.
Yeah, I could see that being a factor too. The outside wall. Um, and then after qualifying, we get in another argument in Fast and Furious Racing with GDF Racing. Um, Jim and I didn't really say anything. It was just Predator and Dason going at it. I say Predator as myself. I don't know why I keep saying Predator. Um, so we get into the race. Uh, Wild Thing dominates the first quarter of the race. We have a total of 16 cautions. Uh, we had maybe 5 or 6 cautions in a 20 lap span. Uh, in the first 20 laps, actually. Um, and Gordon fan, you know how frustrated I was getting. You were there. I was so mad. I started laughing because I was mad, and you know, at the beginning, I thought it was just the people didn't have the right setup. But then you get involved in the wrecks and you see what happens. It's just nobody wants to give an inch, and it's only early in the race. It's 5, 10, 20 laps into the race, and nobody wants to give up a position. What do you think of just all the early cautions we had? 5 or 6 cautions within a 20 lap span. What do you think of that?
Guys just need to learn to take it easy. I mean, come on. The race just started and yet you're already racing like it's the last lap. I mean, still have plenty of time to make moves and make adjustments to get ahead. Just got to calm down and just hang back a little bit. That way, you can gain your composure and have the right strategies to go out there and then really contend for the win. Now, if you're racing like it's the last lap on the very first lap, then obviously you're going to get a whole crap ton of cautions, and it'll just slow everything down. So I say they just need to learn to just keep calm. It's early in the race. You have plenty of time to get the job done.
I totally agree with that. Now I say that I'm the aggressive, 100% aggressive. And the only reason why I do that is because I have, well, at the time I have 7 wins, and I have a reason to be aggressive. I'm not here to get second. I'm not here to get third. I'm not here to get fourth. I'm not here to get fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and so on. I'm here for first, like everybody else. Now, is it me being hypocrite saying, okay, hey, look, we're having so many cautions because you're being aggressive, but here I am pushing somebody in the wall? Is that hypocrite? No. And the reason why I say that is because people like Dason, people like Frank, people like Maverick, people like Gemini, people like Wild Thing, they've raced in this in this league for a year, and God knows how many time or how many other leagues they've already had. But Gordon fan, you know how many leagues I've been in, and I know how many leagues you've been in. We've raced with each other way before this league was even created, and you know it, and I know it. When I be aggressive, I'm actually cautious around people. Just because I'm aggressive doesn't mean I'm going to push you up in the wall. I'm not going to door slam you. I'm 110%. I'm going to try to find the fastest line. I'm going to try to find any way to sneak around and get to first as quickly as possible. If not, I'm already first. I'm going to find a way to lap everybody, so therefore I have the advantage. Right? What are your thoughts on
Exactly.
that?
Well, I agree. Can be the aggressive type too, though. I'm kind of more. Well, scratch that. I'm a little bit of your type of aggressive, and more like the bomb people out of the way type aggressive. Because usually late in the going, I get desperate, and I just give them the old chrome horn or the bump and run, and just take that position. But there are times when I'm usually faced with that a lot, and I try to be aggressive and not get into people. I usually do so anyway, but it wasn't even my fault. It was a glitch in the game, and overall, I think that's just what I have to say about that.
All right. Well, moving on into the race, competition caution comes out. Wild Thing has led pretty much a majority of the race, not the whole entire laps of 65, but a majority of it, maybe half of it, maybe 75% of it. But after the competition caution, no more 18 car, no more 24 car, no more 16 car up in front. It was the 88. The guy who, and again, I'm speaking third person. The guy who was in the back of the field most of the race because he was involved in a lot of cautions. But myself, I find the right setup. I get the track position I need, and I get myself up front. I get myself in the lead. I pretty much dominate the from there forward. There was a couple times me and the 18 battled it, and there was a couple times me and you battled it. But pretty much the whole entire day, it was the 24, the 88, and the 18. It was going to be one of the three of us going to get the win, unless some bullshit happened. So getting late in the race, we've had so many cautions. Irish was getting bumped by Brandon, and the reason why I kind of hesitated to say Brandon because long story short, there was confusion on the track. The 41 car of Irish Minor was being wrecked by Brandon, but he blamed Frank, the driver of the number 43 car. I know it's kind of confusing. Here I'm going to explain it. He got wrecked by Frank, and he blamed Frank. He instantly said, Frank has been wrecking me the whole entire race. So I took advantage of that, and I said, if anybody gets wrecked by Frank, Frank will be penalized by one lap. He will go one lap down. Gordon Fan gets wrecked by Frank. Frank goes one lap down. But he doesn't take it. I have to send him a message saying, you are parked for 2 laps because he was supposed to take a 1 lap penalty. Therefore, Frank is now 2 laps down. After the race, well, technically not after the race, during the race, Brandon wrecks Irish Minor. Irish Minor gets pissed off, leaves, thinking the race was already over, which it wasn't because we had a green white checkered. Irish leaves the race, says he quits. I got 4th. I quit the league. He goes on Twitter saying, I hereby quit the Legends Racing League. It's official. He's gone. He's done. I've told him he can come back, but no promises if you're going to be in the chase. No promises if you're going to have a chance to winning the championship and all that. So, moving on, Frank gets 2 laps down. We have a green white checkered. You and Wild Thing were battling each other very, very hard. I saw it in my not really in my rearview mirror, but I looked back maybe 4 or 5 times each lap, seeing okay who's first and who's second. Who's second and third, basically. Because the 18 car had a really fast car, and I felt like I could hold you off. I didn't feel like I could hold the 18 car off, and then the 18 car kept getting in the wall. Then some confusion happens on the last lap. I come out of turn 4, about to take the checker flag. Wild Thing is currently second. And for the people that don't know, the rule states if 1, 2, or 3 positions get spun out from another driver or get a bubble glitch or get a wall glitch, we will have another green light checkered. We have that rule because how many times have had the race won and was taken out on the last lap and nothing was done about it, Gordon fan?
A lot, and I've been in the same boat with you because I've had the same thing happen to me a number of
Exactly.
times.
So we have that rule. Wild Thing was in second. I was in first. I was about to take the checker flag. I came out of turn 4, and what happens, Gordon fan?
I got spun by Irish coming off the 4, and that was a little bit before you took the checkered flag. I mean, it was about, I don't know, you were about a car length away
One or
from
two
winning the
car
race,
lengths
and
away.
yeah, you were right around there. And then coming off 4, I just got spun by Irish. It was either that or Gemini, I don't know, but they had similar paint schemes. The black base, the secondary color was red, primarily on the hood, so I
Yeah.
have really no idea, but I think it was Irish.
Yeah. And, like you said, I was about to take the checker flag. You get spun. Like I said, Irish believes the race is over. He leaves the race. We go into a green white checker. At the time, I didn't know if the race was over or not because technically we don't have a rule stating if the leader crosses the start finish line before the caution comes out. So say if I cross the start finish line and then you wreck, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would say, because the selfish person I am, I would probably say, hey, look, Gordon fan, where were you? You would have said I was third. I would have been like, okay, well, you get third, race is over. That's how I would have probably done it. So, the caution comes out before I take the checker flag. Um, I was confused if you were fourth and you got spun, and I was questioning everybody. I was like, "Oh no, I'm about to lose the win I was supposed to get. The sweep and everything." Uh, Field was frozen for the 1, 2, and 3. Everybody else was not frozen. Predator had the lead. Myself had the lead. Wild Thing had the second place. You had third place. We get into the green light checkered. I'll admit it. It was the longest green flag checkered I've ever experienced. And for a mile-long track, it felt an eternity because I was so worried some bullshit was going to happen and I was going to lose the race. But you and Wild Thing, driver in the number 18 car, battled for a little bit, and you guys were banging off each other, swapping second place and third place. Tell us what happened about that.
Yeah, well, we came in and got 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel because, well, I mean, why not? And you stayed out, and you pretty much held on to the lead from there. But on the restart, I mean, because of our battling, you just pulled away, and you just never looked back.
Oh, I
And
was looking back. I was I
well,
was definitely looking back.
you were looking back and watching the battle, but as far as the race goes, you were just pulling away from us and just getting away from it.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
anyway, okay, go ahead.
no, no, you can finish. I was going to move on to a different subject.
All right, so yeah, from my perspective, Wild Thing, whenever he would go into the corners, he would just take the insanely high line, like up toward the wall.
Oh yeah,
And
I definitely
yeah,
know
he would
that.
just take yeah, he would take that line like toward the wall.
And then he would
And I
actually
would just
smack the
go
wall.
yeah, well, I'll get to that. But I would go I would actually be lower than him and trying to get that momentum and get that spot from him. And when you said that he would end up smacking the wall on the last lap going into turn 3, that's what he did. And that's pretty much how I ended up getting second out of all that.
Hmm. Well, like I said, it was, no, like you said, I never looked back. I was looking back. I was worried, something was going to happen. I was more like, okay, something's going to happen. All this last lap, coming out of turn four, I noticed you were ahead of him, and he was far back. I was like, okay, the race is over. Before I even crossed the start finish line, and I quote, "Where's my lobster? Where's my fucking confetti? Who's going to fucking interview me?" Bada boom. I fucking sweep the weekend. Thank you for coming. Have a nice day. One of the, in my opinion, one of the greatest quotes this season from somebody winning the race. And if we actually got lobsters for winning at New Hampshire, I would have two lobsters just sitting in my house right now because I don't like seafood.
Actually, 3, because he won last year's race too.
That is correct. I would have had three. Well, the other one would have been gross by now. Somebody would have probably ate it, or somebody would have probably thrown it away because it would have been nasty. But yeah, I would have already had three lobsters won. I win the race. So excited. But I didn't really get to celebrate. In my opinion, I didn't really get to celebrate. I'm not sounding selfish or anything, and I'm going to explain why. Friday, I win the race. I was frustrated about my eye. My eye was killing me. I just wanted to get off and go to bed. I was about to say it was Sunday. Monday, because I was out of town on Sunday. Monday, we raced. I didn't really get to celebrate as much as I wanted to. Yeah, I did donuts. Yeah, I got interviewed. Yeah, I was happy, but this is why I didn't really get to celebrate. Irish quits the league. One of, in my opinion, one of my friends, uh, basically left. Then I lose a teammate. Then I was told uh, early Tuesday morning that I penalized the wrong guy. Frank wasn't supposed to be penalized. Frank wasn't the one who was wrecking anybody. Yeah, he got into a bunch of people and all of that. And I went to Twitter and I apologized for it. And I'm going to say sorry to FCGT 18 as of right now because he was not supposed to be penalized. Brandon was the one who was wrecking everybody. And I feel so bad because who knows what would have happened if he didn't have those two laps down. Now what I've done is Brandon got 5th and Frank got 6th. I switched those two positions. I gave a 2-week suspension only in the Cup Series for Brandon, and Brandon has a probation for the rest of the regular season. He will not be on probation till the beginning of the chase. So, with that being said, I didn't really get to celebrate. Tuesday, again, didn't really get to celebrate. Wednesday, I edited all day. I got to a point where I started practicing with Don and Gemini for Indianapolis, which I will talk about later. And I didn't get really to celebrate, and that's why I'm looking forward to Indianapolis. I really want to win Indy. I actually have a brick from Indianapolis. Solid got cut out. It's missing a few pieces though, but I want to win Indianapolis so I can finally kiss my brick. That's my thing. If I win Friday, I will kiss it. If I win Sunday, I will kiss it. If, for instance, I do not win Friday or Sunday, I will wait till Dale Jr. kisses the bricks at Indianapolis, meaning that he will win Saturday or Sunday. That's if he races Saturday. I don't know if he's racing the Xfinity Series. So, with that being said, I didn't really get to celebrate. I'm looking forward to Indy. Gordon Finn, before we move to Indianapolis, what do you think after everything that happened at New Hampshire? What is your thoughts?
Well, I don't really have a lot of thoughts because I mean a lot of crazy stuff happened and I don't know how to explain it really. So I mean that's what I have to say about it. It was just
I mean,
so
so
dramatic. It was so dramatic and so crazy that I never really had any idea how to explain it.
I mean, so much stuff happened in like a 24-hour span. Irish leaving, me winning the race, sweeping the weekend. Frank wasn't supposed to be penalized. Brandon was. The whole fight between GDF Racing and Fast and Furious Racing, that went on. Um, so it's just, if I don't know how to say this. Basically, Friday was just a good race, and then Sunday was more exciting because we had so much shit that went on. Not racing wise, just league wise. We had so many. We had fights. We had arguments. We had people leave. We had people getting penalized when they're not supposed to be penalized. And I apologize again, Frank. Um, so, but a lot of stuff has gone on, and if you wanted to know before, you should have checked on Twitter. And I mean, everything goes on Twitter and everything goes on Instagram before these. Well, technically, well, yeah, before these YouTubes get up on YouTube. So moving on, Indianapolis. We're gonna start with the Xfinity Series. Uh, Only 4 or 5 drivers from this season was in the race last season. Everybody else has left the league. Said CNR, have a nice day. Who do you have going into Indianapolis and kissing the virtual bricks? I'm gonna say virtual bricks because it's virtual. So who do you got winning Indianapolis for the Xfinity Series with Irish leaving and everything?
Well, I say you are gonna win
Both we
Indianapolis.
can win.
Not only are you gonna kiss the virtual bricks, but you're gonna kiss your actual brick.
Yeah, baby. Don't know if I'll post it up on YouTube, but it would be weird. But
Well, you
I,
can post it on Twitter.
I'll
You
probably
kissing the
post it up
actual
on
brick.
Twitter or Instagram. I'll do that. I'll probably post it up on Instagram or Twitter, or probably both, if I do. That is a promise. I'll do that. I will post a picture of me kissing my brick. But I don't really know who's going to win. I want to say me because I'm selfish like that, but I don't. I honestly I don't know. I practiced with Don and I practiced with Jim last night. I blew them out of the water, like always. I actually, for the first time, I actually broke 46. I went into the practice lobby. Um, we had 3 separate 30-minute practices. First practice, ran a 47 flat. Second practice, I ran a 47.96, and then third practice, I ran a 46.93. So that's fast. That's wicked fast, in my opinion. And I want to say I will be the one kissing the bricks, but you never know what bullshit happens until you actually am there. So, but yeah, again, I honestly, I do not know who's going to win. And since Irish left, my whole chase grid is chucked out the window. I don't know who's going to be in the final 3. I don't even know who's going to be in the chase. Besides, the people that were already locked in. Um, so that's my theory. I want to say me, but I honestly, I do not know who's going to win. I think it would be between the 4 car, which is me, um, the 20 car, which is Wild Thing, and the 16 car of Gemini. And the wild card is Maverick, because if you have noticed for the past few weeks, Maverick has been up in the top 3 because something happens to other drivers. If it's lag, if it's blown engines, if it's damaged engines, or if it's bubble glitch, or somebody running out of fuel. I swear I should have won Kentucky and swept the weekend there, but that's a different story. Moving on to the Cup Series. Strawberg, who is no longer in this league, wins. Don't remember if anybody dominated. I believe it was
I
me
think it
and
was Strawberg, the one that dominated pretty much the whole entire race.
yeah. But for the first time, I've noticed Maverick was up in the top three, and it was me and him who were second and third. I do remember that. I like again. I couldn't remember who was first the whole entire race, but who do you got going into Indianapolis for the Cup Series and winning and getting their name, if not already, locked into the chase?
Well, when Strawberg's not in the race, I say it's a three-way toss-up between you, me, and Maverick. Because we're all pretty good drivers at Indy, and you and Maverick were up there battling each other in the top three. So I say it's going to be either you, me, or Maverick winning Indy.
So Hendrick Motorsports and the top three. Look for that.
That's what I think.
No Wild Thing. You don't think Wild Thing will be a factor this race?
Well, I say he does have a shot, but it may be a little bit of a long shot. Unless if he can find a setup that's insanely fast and then he just blows the rest of us out of the water. Like he almost did at New Hampshire.
Yep, he almost did that in New Hampshire, but stuff happens. You try to run a good line and find out that line doesn't work anymore, and it's already too late. You lost 4 or 5 positions.
So I say you, me, and Maverick, but I'm not counting Wild Thing out just yet.
I don't know. You know, again, same thing. You know, anything can happen, especially with default. You know, so I feel like Maverick would be a key factor. I'm not going to say he's going to win. I'll say he's up there competing for the win. I'll say you because you're always up there. I'll compete. I'll throw in me. You know, I don't know about Wild Thing. Gemini, I don't see him a Indianapolis perfectionist, as you will. Yeah, he'll be racing Friday, but will he have time to prepare for himself for the Indianapolis race for Sunday? Because those are two completely different races. You can say, okay, I got a feeling I don't need to practice for Cup because I already raced Xfinity. No. Unless you run default, then maybe. But, you know, when it comes to Xfinity and Cup, you have to practice and get your mind off of, you know, say, hey, look, I won New Hampshire, or I won Kentucky, or I won Daytona, or whatever. You got to go in Indianapolis, and you need to focus on Indianapolis. You need to focus on Xfinity if you're running Xfinity. You got to focus on Cup if you're gonna race Cup. You can't mix both, because then you're gonna be like, well, my tire pressures are this, and then you're gonna figure out, well, you know, it didn't work for the Xfinity series, or vice versa. You know, with Gemini, I see that is his problem. He's like, okay, well, you know, I'm going to mix my setup with, I'm gonna mix my Xfinity setup with my default setup and go from there. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I get from. Yeah, he already has 2 wins. Congratulations for that. You know, one of them was Bristol and one of them was Daytona. Or not Daytona, Talladega. Excuse me. But, you know, anybody can win Talladega. You know, I won Daytona and nobody expected me to win Daytona. You know, a guy who showed up every single week last season and didn't win a race, hardly got in the top 3, won Daytona in the beginning of this season, you know, and again, anything can happen. Bristol, that was a very close race. It was going to be between you, me, or Gemini, and you know, you were getting pushed by me. You didn't want to get out of my way, and you know, Gemini took advantage of it and he won. Congratulations again. But you know, Indianapolis, in my opinion, reminds me of 3 tracks: Phoenix, New Hampshire, and Pocono. And you know, you don't really see Gemini up in Phoenix. You do with Maverick, you do with me, you do with Wild Thing, you do with yourself. Pocono, same thing. You don't really see Gemini, even though he finished third. But you know, most of the race he was in the back of the field. He was at fourth, fifth, sixth, something like that. And who was in the top three? Me, you, and Maverick. We get into New Hampshire, and again, Gemini wasn't in the top three. He was in the top 4 or 5. You know, it was me, you, and Wild Thing that was in top 3. So when we go to Indianapolis, it will be interesting to see who's going to get first, who's going to get second, and so on and so on. If I had to pick 3 drivers to win the race, I would go with, like you said, Maverick, myself, and you. Mainly because we're just up there in the top 3 most of the week. So, but
of course,
that's
don't count Wild Thing out just yet.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's only have 2 top 3s this season, and you know, with lag issues. Now maybe he did fix the lag issue, maybe he didn't, but even before he had these lag issues, you know, he still wasn't running as good as he says he's been running. So I'm not counting him out yet, but he's not really competition for me. Last week he was, but I don't see him being competition for a couple more weeks.
We'll just see about that, I feel.
Yep. So that's all I have to say. We're not going to do anything in the chase because we both agreed on before this video was up that we weren't going to talk anything about the chase.
Probably until the chase starts.
Pretty much.
Or at least somewhere when we get to Richmond.
That's pretty much how we should do it. You know. So that's all we have to say about that. So you got anything else you want to add on?
I don't think so.
I don't have anything else but to say thank you guys, and thank you for standing behind me as I get 3 videos up in a 48-hour thing. I know other people on YouTube do more videos in a 24-hour span. You know, I kind of know their pain. I'm not gonna say 100%, but I got a little bit of their pain, and it's not really pain. You know, once you really get the video up on YouTube, you're like, I spent all my hours and all my time working on this, and I finally got it up. So with that being said, I got nothing else to say. Thank you for watching. Tune in, because this is Thursday as we're recording this now. Tune in later this week or next week for the Indianapolis races, and to see who might lock themselves in the chase, and go from there. So, peace.
Here we go, hit another crossroad. Better make it count, cause you never really know. Built up, broke down, sick of being pushed around. You want it, you got it, because the time is right now.